Remember Paladins? Maybe you played a ton, maybe you just thought it was a free Overwatch and never actually tried it. Well, apparently a lot of other people remember it too, and some guy sorta tried to weaponize that. So join me for a few minutes while you're driving or eating, and I'll give you the rundown of the biggest piece of Paladins news in the past year, probably two, and even if you don't play the game, I trust you'll find this whole series of events rather fascinating. For those who may just be diving into this rabbit hole, the long story short is that Paladins has been sort of fading for the past year with no continued updates for quite some time. This earned it a semi-dead status in a lot of people's heads, though there was enough daily players that you could still hop into a game pretty easily, all things considered. But in lieu of all the Paladins is dead video essay, someone decided to take the narrative on from a different angle. One evening I was randomly looking for a clip to use in one of my videos and saw something incredibly interesting on the top of my For You page. It was a bold video promising something about a sequel to Paladins? And look, I low-key love Paladins, I played the crap out of it back in the day, and I still hop on every once in a while, and ever since this new drama/story dropped, it got me playing quite a bit, but we'll get to that part later. The video was honestly mostly hollow hype and a little lacking of substance TBH, and honestly it was a teensy bit scammy. I personally don't think the creator was purposely trying to scam as much as they were just a bit naive and didn't really think things through very well. Quite a few channels covered the reasons you might be cautious of the project, highlighting some suspicious activity like an early GoFundMe, potentially manipulative speaking, and a little bit of comment deleting accusations. If you want the full scoop on the scam investigations, you can check out Flats' reaction or Syber's video. I'll hopefully remember to link them in the description. But wait till you're done with my video because I still have some context to throw up at you. Editor note here, Syber actually dropped another video that went more in depth on the scam and whatever allegations of this, so I do say that my opinion is a little bit twinged now, more anti-Paladins 2 project than it was. I was mediumly neutral and just thought the guy wasn't super mature about it, but I do think now he's a little bit more toxic than I originally thought and a little bit more deceptive than I originally thought, so just keep that in mind as you go throughout the rest of the video. Anyway, what exactly was this guy promising? He claimed to be a longtime Paladins player, and the core sell in the initial video that blew his channel up was more or less, let's buy Paladins. Whether that was through a crowdsourced campaign, investors, IP rights, a spiritual successor, etc., though that was all about the video could say. Like I mentioned, there wasn't much of a concrete plan, which, hey, I totally get. It might have just been a passionate video he made over the weekend just to try and help the game he loves and he didn't think it was going to go anywhere. I feel that. But if it was just a shot in the dark, okay, let's see what happens kind of video, then having things like a crowdsource already set up did rub a lot of people the wrong way, because if you aren't really expecting it to go anywhere, why are you asking for money from the get-go? But again, people already covered that in other videos, so I'm not going to dive too deep. After the initial video went semi-viral, responses came in pretty quick. The actual owners of Paladins even remarked, more or less saying they weren't at all interested in selling the IP. This is also when other creators began to caution people against this channel and this project. Not necessarily the movement itself, but the Paladins 2 project and its community/creator were just a teensy bit suspicious. One response video was made after the initial scam by this guy, and honestly it wasn't handled terribly well. I think he could have done better. Well, I think the initial investigation video did get some things wrong and might have been a little overly hostile in the grand scheme of things. I do think this Paladins Project 2 dude was also quite hostile in return, and honestly a bit manipulative in the portrayal and aftermath on his community page. His next video would respond to the game studio's rejection of his initial premise. In that video, he'd go on to say two things depending on your interpretation of his intentions. A, he backpedaled his grift a little bit after his initial attempt got somewhat caught, or B, he refined his initial ambitious vision down to a more realistic goal now that his first goal had been shot down. Again, I don't want to be overly accusatory in this video, I don't want to start beef, and personally I think he was never being purposely malicious, just a little bit irresponsible. But you can of course have whatever opinion you want, I'm not your father. Just your mother. How did his premise change, you ask? He pushed instead for one last game update to bring it to a more playable state. Something that, while obviously more realistic than a full sequel or IP sell, was still quite a daunting task in the grand scheme of things. Eventually, even this plan would be cut down to size again, and currently the official goal is a community-wide push on August 9th to break the concurrent player record for I believe the past year. And side note, I can get behind that. No matter what your views are on the intentions behind this whole project, I do think a strong player push would do nothing but help the game. And that's where I'll pivot away from the timeline of events really quick and the whole story and cover a quick side note before we get to the finale of this Paladins 2 channel. And that side note is its actual impact I think has been positive in the long run. The money was refunded from the crowdsourcing, so no one really got hurt at all, though it was a teensy bit of a battle to get the money back, but not too much, so at least there wasn't any real negative consequences in the long run. On the flip side, there has been plenty of noticeable increase in Paladins players and online discourse, which I think is very good for the game. I mean, no publicity is bad publicity kind of thing. Even if the source of their renewed interest is a tad dubious, I do think it's kind of valid. I mean, hey, I played for the first time in a few months because of it, so that at least goes for something. And honestly, I think it's better the channel existed and ran its course course than if it had never existed, because again, higher player numbers are higher numbers, and no one's gonna argue with that. That just makes the game better. But I also don't want to be too charitable either. I still think this whole thing wasn't handled all that well either, and even though I don't think he's a scammer, I also don't think it was handled very well. And quite a few people from the outside looking in did start to feel the same way. So the climax, so far at least, of this story is the most recent and presumably last video the Paladins 2 project channel will ever post. Allegedly. This video more or less roughly stated that the backlash was taking a toll on the creator and that he was withdrawing from the public eye and that the channel was going to go dormant. He reiterated that the August 9th player goal was still happening and he encouraged people to join despite it all. He also left his Discord community open and encouraged people to like and share and show that we're here, which he said on every video, which is sort of valid in the other videos, but honestly it did feel a little weird that he was pandering for interactions on the funeral video, because why do you want people to show they're here on the dying video? I'm just not quite sure, but at least it sort of makes sense on the other ones. Speaking of liking and sharing videos, like and share this video. And that's that. Things have seemingly come to a close, unless of course Moist Critical ends up making the Paladins 2 situation is crazy, which, let's be real, that'd be a banger. But yeah, so where does this leave us now that things are simmered down? Like I said, I do think it's a net win. No one seems to have gotten hurt from the whole thing other than maybe the creator, which, you know, I hope it wasn't too bad of a toll. I don't think you should get harassed over it. And the only lasting impact of the overall project does just seem to be a surge in players and a new Discord that facilitates more people playing the game. Speaking of Discord, join the Taco Discord. And again, as for the guy, I just hope the backlash hasn't harmed his mental health or anything, but I'm also kind of glad he's taking a step back, because I don't know if he was a super responsible public face. So what about you? Well, I encourage you to try the game if you haven't, or if it's been a while since you've played, go ahead and give it a shot. Whether you do the whole August 9th player push thing is none of my business, but I do want Paladins to be revived. I love the game, so let me be a tad more responsible in my call to action. Play Paladins. Don't invest into buying the game, don't harass employees or creators, don't get your hopes too high. At first I was gonna say play Paladins to save Paladins, but I don't even want to be that part of the empty hype train, because at the end of the day, it's just a simple math equation. If people are on the game, you'll have people to play against, and that's all you need for the game to stay alive. It might not get new champs, it might not get saved, it might not get a sequel, but there's no reason for it to fade into non-existence. The servers are up, it's playable, and all we need is enough people on to be able to play it. And right now, there is, and there has been for a year, so even though people say the game is dead, it's honestly not too hard to get in a match, so I've been playing pretty commonly. Game feels alive to me. I know I'm playing in the bit of the surge, but come on, everyone hop on. I hope to see you there. Just be careful, I'm a demon at ROM, no pun intended, so you'll be losing when you see my username. And hey, if you want to see some Paladin streams, I'll probably stream for a week or two, so catch me on Tuesdays to watch some Paladin streams. Alright, thanks for watching, like and sub if you're hot, but don't worry, you're hot either way. Just enjoy life if you never see another vid of mine again. Thanks channel members Frog Wizard especially, and have a fantastic day. Taco out. Talk out.